Well, hello. Here is going to be the cards that I created for that event that was for a nonprofit organization. Hello, Andrea, Jeannie, and Mark. So, this is the first card, and then I'm going to show you how to put it together. So, I'll leave that to the side so you can see it. And you're going to open up your red envelope, pull out all your pieces. And so this one here, you'll be putting adhesive, either wet glue or dry glue, and mounting that, and it goes on the inside of the card. So let me go ahead and do that first. And where's my glue? There it is. This is the one I use the most. So I apologize for getting this done so late. It's been a week since the event, but I had a full schedule this week. So you add your adhesive, whichever type you use, and then try to center it best on the Knight of Navy square. All the supplies that I used for the event have been retired, so it's no longer available, but it lets me use up the stuff. Okay, so this is going to go on the inside. It has dimensionals. Just press down the center of those, and it helps pull those up. Everyone loved the cards at the event. The event was supposed to have up to 40 people, plus the people that were volunteering for it, but it only had 14. So I have plenty of the supplies left. So any of y'all that are interested in this, just message me, and I'll get back with you. Okay, and so this has dimensionals. So you want to mount this first, tree second, and the sentiment last, because it depends on how you want it. And I use the foam strips on these. This was a paper pumpkin 3 years ago, and I bought extra supplies. And then I bought the cards, and then I cut the trees and stuff out of the supplies, as well as the houses. They were packaging. They were for putting goodie treats in. And it doesn't matter where you place it. It's your card, so you decide where to place it. Cards should only take you about 45 minutes. So like this one here, I'm going to put the tree down here. Oops. I don't want it to catch on the house. And then the sentiment, I'm going to put this one Kitty Wampus. The other one I put straight. So it's like that. So just remember, it's your card. So there's the first one. I'll put it with the envelope and move this out of the way so we can go to card number 2. Card number 2 is with the St. Nicholas. I use the red foil paper. I use the gold foil cards with the matching envelopes. There's no sentiment on the inside, so that way you can write a message or stamp your own sentiment. It's with the brush gold. So open up this envelope. Pull out all your supplies. And everything's in here. The only one that you have to adhere with adhesive is the DSP paper from the St. Nicholas Christmas Traditions. And I use wet glue. It's my preference. But everybody has their own preference. And I usually put a little bit in the center. I love how Stampin' Up! Has matching cards and envelopes. So that way you can get it done quickly. These cards were not hard to prep for, to make 48. Yep, that's how many mine. Then I added some embellishments to them. Those beautiful jewels. And on foil paper, if you're not familiar, you cannot use your dry adhesive or your wet glue. Dry adhesive leaves a marking on the foil, wet adhesive doesn't absorb and it seeps out and you get it on your foil. So that's why I use dimensionals for this card. I'm going to go ahead and mount this first, but you can do it. You can put the sentiment on first and then mount it. And depending on where your Santa Claus is, so I'm going to mount this one dead center. So it shows both of the Santas in the gold. And this one here, you definitely want to use tear tape or dry adhesive. No wet glue. Because if you drop it, you get in the wrong area, you won't be happy with that. Because there's no way of getting that wet glue off that foil. Just like that. So there's that one. We'll put this one in the envelope. Well, actually, just slide the envelope inside the card and move this one out of the way. This was card number 2. And it depends on which DSP paper you got, depending on where the Santa's located. Card number 3. This one here has the birds. And of course, I used some sparkly ribbon. Where is that paper? No, that is a sparkled glitter paper. So, this is 2 years ago. That's what happens when we hoard paper. And then on the inside of this one, there is no sentiment, so you can use whatever sentiment you have. So you are going to open up the card. All the supplies is in there. Well, it's upside down. There we go. So, anyways, first and foremost, I'll move that white card out of the way. You want to mount your DSP. And this can go on the left or it can go on the right. You choose. Since I put the other one on the left, I'll put this one on the right. And just look at your top and your bottom, and you can slide it in. That's the benefit of the wet glue, because it gives you time to get it situated. You're not having to pull it back up. And then, of course, I'm going to mount this one with the birds. And this has no dimensionals. This is a flat card. But I'll tell you, when I did the sentiment with the silver, the white shimmer cardstock, it's like white, it's glitter paper. It's the white one. You have to use tear tape on that. It does not, or dimensionals. But I didn't want any dimensionals on this. So I'm going to get that situated. And then we can go ahead and mount this one to the card base. These are great outlays for you to use when you're making your holiday cards, birthday cards, or any other tradition cards, to follow a card pattern. Make sure your paper is right side up. That's always important. And get it situated. And I just press on the 4 corners. And then this one here is going to go over here to this side. But I want to go up because we have a sentiment. And then I'll probably put the sentiment at the top since you have one showing at the bottom. So that gives you a variation. So let's bring this one down. And I usually look here and here to get it centered. And see, I use tear tape to mount the glitter paper. And then I use tear tape again so you can mount it to the card. There we go. And there is card number 3. So there you go. See it. You see them side by side. Okay, card number 4. I love the Frosty. On this card, I colored it all in, and then I used spray glitter. And it comes in the paint department under the aerosol sprays. It just gives it that beautiful shimmer. Okay, and then this one here, there's no sentiment, so you can add your own sentiment. You make my heart happy. So this could be for holidays, or if you used it, any type of snowman, you could also use it for winter or a thank you card or any of that. You can flip, I'll show you the paper, what it looks like on the other side. So that way, if you didn't want to make a Christmas card, you could change it up where it has the ribbons. So instead of using this side, we'll use this side and we'll place it on that side. So let's go ahead and use our Tombow glue or your dry adhesive. I'm going to mount it to the left so it kind of gives you a variety so you can change up the card the way you like it. Just make sure the bows are right side up. That's important. And I'll probably... Then we want to put wet glue on the back of this. And I use this Stampin' Blends to color. For those of you not familiar, our Stampin' Right markers are going away. They will no longer have those. They are on the clearance rack if they're still there. Center this on the real red cardstock. I love this color. Oops, it kind of shifted there. I need to push it back. And then there, I'm going to go ahead. So be careful not to, when you're using wet glue, not to put too much, because you can see where I shifted it. It seeped out. And I'm going to line this up down here at the bottom. And on your circles, this is our circle punches. I'm just going to put a little bit in the center because it will seep away. Seep out if I get too close to the outside edge. So I'm just going to get that where it's centered. There you go. And then you definitely want to use wet glue or dimensionals or tear tape to mount it to this glitter. There we go. So there is 2 cards done with both sides of the paper. So it gives you a virtual difference. So depending on how you want to use the card. Okay. That is card number 4. Halfway done. On this card, I added these beautiful jewels already to the paper. Because it's very hard for a lot of people trying to place those or try to cut them out of a sheet because they had 5 colors. And then I used an embossing folder that's retired now. They had the stars and the stripes to place that on. So, and then I stamped 2, you and yours. And I think this one did not have a sentiment. No, it did not. Let me get the supplies out. This is a Sahara Sand, which is a retired color now. Love that neutral color. But we have the beige now, so. So on your sentiment here, it has tear tape. So first off, we want to mount this to the soft suede, which is another color that retired. So we're going to mount these 2 together first. Let me move that blue one out of the way. It should never work where your stuff is. but I'm trying to stay in the camera picture. There we go. And we're going to press that all the way around. Now, before you mount it to this one, what do I do with my sentiment? There it is. You want to put your sentiment on first. And I've already put a piece of tear tape there. So just rub it, and it should peel right off. There we go. And then you pick this up. You line it up. Well, I got glue on my finger, so it's sticking to my hand. Line it up, press, voila. Now we're going to adhere it to the nice embossed image. So whenever you're applying anything to embossed, dry embossing, you do need to use wet glue, dimensionals, or tear tape. The dry adhesive roller does not stay adhered. It will pop off later down the road when you least expect it. So that's the reason why I'm using the wet glue. But if you don't like wet glue, you can use tear tape or dimensionals. So now we're going to go ahead and add it to the back piece. And just a little bit in the center. Take your time lining up. I usually look at the top two corners, bottom two corners, and the right to the left. That helps me get it centered to the best of my ability. And remember, creating cards is not a perfect art, but art isn't perfect either. So there is card number 5. Move those out of the way. And this is card number 6. So depending on whether you want your sentiment to the right or your sentiment to your left, that is your choice. So I'm going to leave both of those there. And then we're going to go ahead and pull out our supplies. This is a very easy card, but what really makes it sparkle is that red glitter paper, right? I know Jeannie and Andrea love sparkly things, so I know y'all like these, especially the next couple of them. Make sure you put your stockings right side up. We're just going to make it an even margin, top, bottom, then left. And then I already mounted tear tape to the back to mount it onto this glitter paper. So just rub it or use your bone folder to go across it. And then you can peel it up. Makes it very easy. So you have to use tear tape or dimensionals to mount on the glitter paper. No wet glue and no dry adhesive roller. It will not stay. Very abrasive. And just press real good across. And this does not rub off. See that? Now we're going to press and indent the dimensionals. And peel those off. I thought I grabbed that one. I did not. I did not there either. Stay. There we go. And now I'm going to press on the corners. Sometimes it takes just a little bit for that wet glue to adhere. Make sure you mount your sentiment right side up, and you can go inward, but I'm going to go all the way to the outside edge, leaving a 1/4 inch, and press firmly down. So you can have it this way or this way. Your choice. And that's card number 6. Now we're going to card number 7. I forgot where I put the envelope. There it is. Okay. So here's card number 7. I use that red glitter paper again. I brought in our old Grosgain ribbon, the chocolate chip, because there was a seam here, you'll see. So all the supplies is in your cards. Just be careful. Make sure you check your envelope that you got everything out. And this is Mary Merlot. This is a color that retired a couple years ago when they did a revamp. Garden Green. And there's the sentiment. This is using one of our new punches, 1 3/4, and then 2-inch. There we go. And then this is, all this paper was in that St. Nicholas paper. So I had 3 packages of it. Yeah, I was a hoarder, all right. So this one has a sentiment to go on the inside of the card. So let's mount that first. If you don't want to use the sentiment, flip it over. But before you mount it, stamp what you want to place in there. Some people like to use their own sentiments or just write a message. So I gave them the option of doing that. Make sure you mount it right side up. There we go. Okay, so we'll put this one to the side. We're going to start mounting our pieces because this has a very thin trim, and I did that on purpose. I don't like to cut DSP in odd numbers. It leaves too much waste. So this is a 4-inch square. So when I cut the soft suede, I cut it at 4 1/8 by 5 1/4. There we go. And then, of course, there's tear tape on the back of the glitter paper. And then we're going to mount this to the bottom, leaving the same amount of edge like I used at the top. There we go. And see that gap? If it was a thin gap, it would have been fine, but it wasn't. And on your ribbon, whenever you're mounting tear tape, you want to definitely don't go all the way to the edge, because then if you do go to the edge, make sure you peel from the opposite end. So that way it doesn't cause the ribbon to ravel. So what we're going to do is we're going to lay this on here. And then press. Now we're ready to mount this to our card base. And then you're going to go all the way across here. I'm just going over a little bit over the ribbon. And I'm going to do one down the center. And you want to center this on the Mary Merlot card base. It's a thin trim, remember that. So 1/8 frame all the way around. Just adds that color to this. And whenever it's dark colored cardstock, that's why I bring in a piece of white or vanilla or basic beige. Now we're going to add, I didn't have to add that. I got tear tape on the back. If I was going to have to add wet glue, but I got it prepped. So this one here, you want to mount this first on your circle. Then you're going to peel off. Let's indent those so they peel off easy. And then mount that to here. I'm going to hold it back so I can see. And just go up just a touch. There we go. And there is that card. So this one I didn't change at all. Okay. That's card number 7. Last one. My favorite of all. It's the gnome. So there's two sides of this paper that you can do. So if you didn't want to make it a Christmas one, you can make it just as a birthday or thinking of you or just wishing you well. I did add a pearl on the hat. You love this silver glimmer paper. And I love that ruffle ribbon that's from, I think that is Pool Party. Pool Party. So let me show you how to do that. And this one didn't have a, yes, it did have a sentiment. So if you don't want to use this sentiment, just flip it over, but don't mount it till you stamp the sentiment you want. Okay, so let's open up the supplies. There's quite a bit of pieces, so be careful. Okay. And this is that blue that retired. I think it was boho blue. Okay. So let's get our pieces mounted together. We have two white ones. One with the sentiment. And then one plain. The plain one is the one that you're going to be mounting your pieces on. So then when I said there was two different sides, it's got the little gnome homes. So that's the side we're going to use for this card. Because I let the people know at the event that they could use either side of the paper. So that way you can see, you can make the card as a various. So I have him mounted to the top. I'm going to do the same on this one. And the reason for it is because we have the ruffle ribbon. I don't think the ruffle ribbon would look good at the top versus the bottom, as well as the glitter paper. So, there's that. Now we have tear tape on the back here. We're going to peel that off, mount that second. It's going to go closer to the bottom, leaving about the same edge as you see at the top. And then next we're going to do the ribbon. So make sure you rub this good and peel from the opposite end, not over here, because it will fray it. And then what I did is I held the card up because I didn't want to cover up all that glitter paper. Then I mounted one side and then mounted the other, just like that. Now you're ready to mount it to your card base. I'm going to add this. Try not to get too much wet glue on your ribbon, or you can put another piece of tear tape on it. I'm used to using this, so I'm pretty familiar with it. Okay, so now we're going to mount it to the card base. And just makes it come alive. Look at that. So pretty. Now these gnomes were in the sheet of paper. It came out 2 years ago. So I cut a piece of white thick cardstock to mount that on. And so here you want to take, you can use your dry adhesive on it, or you can use your wet. I'm just going around in a circular motion. I don't want to get too close to the edge because I don't want none of that to seep out. And I'm going to mount him on the white rectangle. There we go. And then he's going to go on to the soft suede rectangle. There we go. There's that one. Now on the back of that one, I have Stampin' Dimensionals. And you can tell these are leftover pieces around the frame that hardly ever gets used. So I use that up whenever I'm prepping. So none of it goes to waste. There we go. Yep, I did the center one. I wasn't sure if I did. Now this one here covers up that house. So what I want to do is I don't want to cover the whole thing up. So I just want to bring this up to there so it's all showing. And everybody got a different gnome because these were all hand cut. I cut those out. And like I said, if you didn't want to use this sentiment, you just flip this over and mount it on the inside. And I haven't decided what I want to do with that card, so I'm not going to mount it at all. So there are the last cards, number 8. So thank you for participating for a wonderful foundation that helps women who are going through cancer treatments, that helps them, reimburses them for their ferry, parking, mileage to and from for treatments. If you have any questions, you can reach me at Gina Tudela on either through Facebook or YouTube, or you can contact me. I'm not going to give my phone number out online, but you can look me up on Google. Thanks again for joining. Bye-bye.